I am R1 Cameron, and this is the Conduit. All right, y'all. I'm on a horn just because I want a horn. It's Wednesday. It's 61 degrees. It's a beautiful day in Kitsap County. I hope that you are having an excellent day. I know that I am having an excellent day. You know, the ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's flat. Right now it's up. I'm gonna stay on that high wave and keep riding it on through the rest of my day. How could you can do? You can change how you feel. You can change how you think. It takes a little bit of effort. I'm here with you today. As you know, we have our normal show at 3 p.m. Conversations and housing concerns with BHA and KCR. And sometimes the county just listen to what we normally do on this Wednesday now that we have this beautiful schedule. First Wednesday in data and information. The second Wednesday is a deep dive into a particular topic, which we had a really good one last week, and you want to check it out if you missed it. The third week is an update, and I'm going to get into the updates in just a second. I'm going to tell you what I just got done doing. But before I do, the fourth Wednesday, oh yeah, it's that pancake breakfast at New Horizon Ministry. So again, you're always invited. It's open. Please come and get a free meal. Bring your kids. 11 a.m. every fourth Wednesday. Next Wednesday, May 25th is when it is. That address is 4040 Wheaton Way, 203 in Birmingham, 9833. Yeah, come on down. What's the office is community that are invested in building relationships and building community, right? But that's when we get to the higher level. When we get to it's very important to get yeah, yeah, and share information and talk with Katie and Matt and Paul and you know, the Bible, you know, it's very interesting. They're doing the work of putting the ground and fighting the attitude. You know what? This is important. And that's this is what we're invited to come to one night on us on G2 and share. You know, if you're an organization, share information because people don't know the information. Sometimes these resources are finite. They like the Waitlist, open for a week, then it closes. So by the time you hear about it, I know that's happening, right? We get to the Waitlist, when it grows. You can follow us for live. At least twice a day. Saying, hey, it's open. Come on, let's get it. It's on the thing. And before someone has to take the lead and build the system, a lot of different systems. We all have different ways of solving problems. And we can explore that and that. Well, mm, well, we only need to come to the root. And when you know it's going to work, it is likely it's easier for you to find a solution as a housing coalition, and the housing coalition pretty much was 30 or 40 other working here that are doing work. There's a ton of them. Now, there was still members before, right? And we used to finish to get busy doing the business food. And and actually, and once we switched it, the conflict was every third Wednesday. Everyone else was in the housing coalition meeting. So it was like, we need to either cancel this one or we need to push it till later, right? And so it's like, oh, the housing coalition meeting? What you talking about? Oh, there are so many questions that we get all the time. Why isn't there more housing? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Any services, building, services, facilities, utilize and the internet minimum and then share out. That's live, they're meeting. So the state and all the other leaders and workers and all these organizations are getting, you are all how powerful is that? So that's what I was saying to them. Oh my God, it's not even primarily one, building community, two, sharing information, and three, elevating the important. When I share this with my book, I know a lot. I do. There's access to people and answers to questions. Even with that, there's so many things that I do not know. I wasn't even assuming these things. I've got a page note from the meeting. And it's like, I can't write that here. I need to record this. Just to capture it. It's like, okay, what's the work? It's like, oh, man, this is fantastic. You know, I love learning. Like, oh my goodness, this is, and I'm writing and I'm listening. And this is going on. And, you know that there's a new program for the whole, you know that you know who is trying it. These are the tools. How powerful. Get it, man. You all have some of the is it working? Let's check it out. I see it. It's a little top. This is, all right, here's what I'll do. You know, sometimes when you really, you know, like it's too good to be true, you know, it's there we go. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just switch it up on the fly. I'm gonna refresh my browser, which would cancel the show if I didn't have a backup. And now let's see. See how they do. All right. Is that a little better? Give it a second. This, see what we got happening. Now let's just start from the top because I couldn't understand. Yeah, I am. I am. Is my audio still good? All right. Perfect. Sounds like it's good to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it from the top. So what I was saying was the third Wednesday is a coalition, and there are 30 to 40 agencies that meet on this third Wednesday at 2 p.m. And I forgot in the very beginning, I used to attend those meetings and I stopped, right? Because we got so busy. So now, it's time to get back active, right? And this came about for an accident. Matt needed to change his time, so we changed our morning show to a 3 p.m. show. And then there was a conflict every third Wednesday with the Housing Coalition, right? And so what I thought was, I'm like, well, look, the third Wednesday, we can share out what we've learned from the Housing Coalition. But really thinking about it, why not cut out the middleman and appeal to them and say, hey, look, can we cover and live broadcast the meeting? It doesn't appear to be a private meeting. It's the different organizations updating each other on the latest and greatest information from the month previous. And why that is so powerful is I'm thinking about my relationship, right? I can call an executive director of the Bremerton Housing Authority directly. I have access that many people don't have access to. And I know quite a bit because I'm in the know. This is the realm that G2 operates in, one of many. But I don't know what I don't know, and I'm not even going to this meeting where there's 30 other organizations there. And if I don't know it, I can't bring it to you. And everyday folks, regular people that are just working every day trying to maintain, y'all don't know it. How could you? It's so much information. And then to go further, if there's 30 or 40 other organizations, when are you going to have time to engage with all of these different organizations? You don't. It's one of the reasons why we don't have a good understanding of why things happen, how things happen, right? Why isn't there more affordable housing in Kitsap? Well, they were answering some of those questions today. Why is there only 20% when there's commercial buildings? What's new? I didn't know that an agency bought the old Kitsap Rescue Mission building and that they're going to have a 22-bed program that's going to open up there. That's phenomenal. But how would we know? So all this great stuff is going on. And when you think about equity, access in real time, when it's meaningful, and I use the example of the Section 8 waitlist being open. It opens for 5 days and it closes. And there are times when this happens and it closes and people hear about it after the fact. It's too late now. Didn't help you. It's already going to be years probably before you get any help, if you get any help. Your life may have changed to the point where you're not eligible for Section 8 by the time your name gets called. But you've missed it because it was a flash in the pan. And so by providing this information, it increases the likelihood that everyone is going to have access in an equitable way when they need it, not after the fact. That is what I experienced teaching at the college. One student would have tuition assistance, food assistance, book assistance, tutors, all types of different resources. Many of them are free. And another student is paying out of pocket or going without because they didn't know. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know who to ask. And unless the conversation was had, or they even thought to ask, hey, is there such thing as free tutoring? They wouldn't know. And again, the point of the conduit is 3 things. 1, build community. 2, share information. And 3, elevate voices. And so this is a way in which we can do that. And so I asked today when I presented to them, hey, and that's why the show started late. I apologize, but I had to present. And I didn't even wear the purple today. Well, technically, purple in the glasses, so I always got purple on. But the ask was, can I broadcast the Zoom? Cut out the middleman. Allow everyone to have access to this information. Something that's going to be lost in translation. As much as I can share out what I heard, I'm going to miss something. And you can hear it directly. The other thing that I asked was, could you come on one by one and share your information about your program? Bring that information to the general public at large. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. I do want to bring on Miss Katie. She's here. All right, Katie, before you say anything, let me give you a horn. Let me give you an applause. 1,000 signups on day 1.
Yes.
You know how many you had yesterday?
I can't track it by day right now, but I think we have we're so close to 2,000 right now. So
Wow. 2,000 people have signed up for the Section 8 wait list. So important. We are we're at the end of day 3 now, but that is the need is tremendous. How are you doing? How are you hanging in there?
Good. I'm just helping where I can. Our volunteers are at different locations across the county right now, just trying to be present. But we are noticing that people are doing it from their homes or from their phones or from at their family's house or, we're here. They need help, but we're really seeing everybody being able to independently do it, which was amazing to see the information. At 18 minutes, we checked and we had 165 applications on
Wow.
open day.
Wow.
So we were very happy that our outreach was working. We knew there was an access barrier, having to create this account, having to go through this new system, having an email address. So we are doing even better than last year, even though there's more barriers this year. So our work is showing right now. I think it's good.
No, it's a testament to innovation and the pursuit of trying to do better. So, shout out to you guys. And yesterday, Morgan showed up from BHA. She was just going to
Yeah.
drop off materials and ended up staying and helping us navigate some of the pitfalls. And then Christy showed up as a volunteer, and that's great. And now she's going to come to breakfast next Wednesday. So that's awesome. So, I think we made a new friend. And so that's great.
You met two awesome people from BHA yesterday. So, yes.
And that's what it's about. I was joking with Christy. I was like, you could come. We have this free pancake breakfast. I was like, Jill and Katie come. They're like, Jill and Katie comes to a free pancake breakfast. Like, I want to be there. I live right down the street. I'm like, yeah, come on. She's like, I'm coming. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's really awesome. Really.
I'm so happy that we were able to kind of get the word out about the computer lab.
Mm-hmm.
And we know it's there, and we know that we just need to get the word out that there's 10 laptops there. That's amazing.
Yes. And, we signed up 5 yesterday, and we've had the same experience as you. Most of the folks that we interact with are able to do it on their own with the computer and phone. But it's a good thing the lab was there, because some people tried to do it on their own, but they kind of got caught up in the minutia of the
Oh,
email
yes.
piece of it. And so let me ask you this. I was telling folks this morning, so I'll go live every morning and tell folks, hey, the wait list is open. You got a couple more
That's so
days.
awesome.
But what I was telling folks this morning was, look, if you have to create a new email, you need to maybe go in your phone, if you have one, into your notes and write down that, email and that password, because that's where that information is going to come. And oftentimes we create a new email, and the problem is we've had our phone for so long, you don't remember the password to your email because you never
Yes.
log out of it, right? Or you
Yes.
lose your phone and then you get a new phone and I don't remember what the password is and I can't get in. Well, that information is going to come to that email. So you want to make sure that you write that down somewhere, that you have access to it, and you do want to check it periodically. So what's your thoughts on that advice there?
Well, so Rent Cafe is never going away now. It is open. And Waitlist, yes, will close, but it is going to be the way that you update your contact information with us when you're on the waitlist, where you see your waitlist status, where ultimately we'll open up more features so you can interact more with us. So when maybe in the future when we request paperwork, instead of having to come to the building, you'd be able to submit it over through your account. So those are things that we're looking to implement in the future. So making sure you have access to your Rent Cafe account and keep your address and your phone number and your email up to date. It's really important. And we'll send periodic emails through the system just to maybe remind you, hey, if your address changed, update your account. But then it's important to check your email account that you created. The other thing is too, if you don't remember or if you lost access to an email, you call us, we can easily change your email address. So you didn't lose access to Rent Cafe if you lost access to your email. You just need to call us and we can make sure that it's an email you can access.
So Katie, then is that true that, let's say I need to create a new email to set up my Rent Cafe because I was just having issues. I applied for the wait list. after I do all that, I can then, after I would say, okay, I'm on the wait list, cool. I can
Yes.
call in and then change my email back to my original email.
If you found access to it, yes, for sure. So just want to make sure you have access to it, but we can always update that email address.
All right, so that's good to know. And then, my thought on it is, get signed up for Rent Cafe, sign up for the wait list, and then worry about,
Mhm.
changing your email after the fact. Woosah, relax.
Yes. So the one issue that I can't fix, so it escalates to me if there's any technology issues. And the one that I can't fix is if you enter your email to make a new account and it pops up and says, "Good news, your email is attached to another account." I don't know why it says good news because it's not good news.
Yes.
Because you have to contact us, we have to contact our software provider. Then our software provider has to confirm that your email is attached to another property. And a lot of times people don't know they have a Rent Cafe account attached to their email because they maybe applied for an apartment complex and never got contacted, but didn't realize they had maybe made an account in that process. So they're like, I don't know what this property is. So a lot of times we just have the software provider disconnect, but we have to make sure with the person. So there's a lot of back and forth. It doesn't happen quickly. So right now with the waitlist closing on Friday, to get in the system, again, we can change the email later. We can fix that later. So if you need to make a new email, and then we can make sure it's connected to the right email later. But we want to make sure you get in the system and apply. So if it says good news, your account is connected to another Rent Cafe account, like maybe just use a different email or definitely contact us as soon as possible so we can get that process going.
Yes. And again, remember, if you make a new email, write that password down somewhere, okay? That's super important. So the
Yes.
Rev is saying that actually happened to him yesterday. I think you're good to go now, right, Rev? And I gotta say, Katie, one, you gave me a piece of information that was so important to us. And before you came on, I was talking about, you know, as much access that I have to service providers like yourself, there's things that I don't know. And I wasn't sure on whether or not single adults with no children could
Mhm.
actually apply for Section 8. Um, and so you gave me that answer, which was yes. And
Yes.
I think there was at least 8 people that I know of that registered just because I was able to share that news out.
That's so great.
And they
I,
were going to.
oh my gosh. You don't realize, from this side what people don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. We say that a lot. I think you just said that in our meeting before, but we just don't know. And so we need that feedback and to know what to put in our communication. And we need you to ask questions so we can tell you. And we might know the answer, but we just don't know to share the answer. So it's just one person over 18. That's all you need. You don't even if you have household members, you don't even need to put them in. It gives you the option to put them in the application, but you don't need to put them in the application at this time. You can just put the minimum required information in, which is just one person over 18, and submit the application. So
Yeah, that's super important. Are there some updates that you want to tell folks, for the last little bit of today, Thursday and Friday in regards to Rent Cafe in Section 8?
um, well, I'm going getting. We have one contact number, one contact email. They're kind of tackling the contact number today. There's a lot of voicemails we're getting back to. There's a lot of emails. I'm tackling the emails. So if you've emailed us, email us again just to get you on the top of the email list. There's only 40 I'm getting through, but with it's so close, I want to make sure that I'm at least responding to those who can't get in.
Yes.
So I'm trying to get all that squared away. So if you've emailed us and said I can't get in, send me another email just in case. I'm getting through it, but just to get you at the top of that list so I make sure to send you your information. So
And please don't wait until the last day. The Section 8 wait list closes at 4 p.m. on Friday. So if there's going to be a tech issue, applying at 3 p.m. on Friday is not a great idea. So please do that. There's a question in the chat. How many vouchers are getting awarded this round? Thank you, Sarah.
there's no award, meaning like before, I don't know exactly what your question is, but before when we would do a lottery system, we'd have like 200 we would predict maybe 200 are going to be issued this year. So we would pick out of everybody applied, we'd randomly select 200 people and all the rest would just not be on the wait list. This year, we're not doing that. Everybody who applies is on the wait list. At the closing time, we sort the list and then that's the order of everybody on the wait list. But we're not going to start issuing vouchers for a while still off this wait list. So we're just preparing the list. But we really don't have a prediction of how many vouchers are going to be issued next. And if you do apply, we can't exactly tell you what your wait list position is or how long it will take. It just depends on funding, timing, staff time, processing. There's no housing right now, so we're really trying to help our current voucher holders find housing. So we don't want to issue vouchers too soon without the ability to find housing, because we don't want you to lose your voucher because you can't find housing. So it's a delicate balancing act for sure.
And how many vouchers are there current?
There's a little over 1,300 voucher holders right now, and we have up to 1,800. And I think you've heard Jill talk many times that we have a lot of vouchers we can still issue. We're still processing the past wait list, so we're still getting through that one. But we are trying to get through the list, trying to issue more. Again, trying to make sure it's an equitable process, that when we issue the vouchers, that we're giving enough tools for people to find housing. So voucher is just kind of the first step. It's still difficult to find housing in the private market.
Absolutely. And so I think you answered that question there. How long is the wait list now?
Well, this new wait list, it's almost 2,000. So actually, 2 wait lists. And I want to make sure that everybody knows there's 2 check boxes when you apply. Check both boxes. They're the same type of voucher, but you get on 2 wait lists. One list is much bigger. The Bremerton Housing Authority one has 1,800. I think the Housing Kitsap is around 400 vouchers on it. Most of those are issued, but get on both wait lists. So there's just 2 check boxes. It's not an extra application process.
That's a pro tip right there. Is there an expected turnover on properties currently accepting the vouchers?
I don't know the answer to that question, because we rely on the private market and the landlords, and we don't need attrition. We used to just depend on attrition, meaning the voucher holders who were no longer qualified, we'd get the voucher back and we'd be able to issue it. We're just now, it's all timing now.
Gotcha.
We have vouchers to issue.
And then there's 10 rentals listed in Kitsap County NWMLS as of this afternoon.
Well, let me give a shout out to Lori Reisinger, because she's managing an affordable listings page on our website. Let me see if I can put that in the chat. She updates that almost every day, because even if it's rental and even if it's available, it has to meet affordability standards first, and then it has to go through some other requirement tests. So the first thing is it's got to be affordable, and that includes utilities. So sometimes it may look affordable, but our voucher holders can't afford it. So let me see if I can
you want to go to the website?
So let me put it in here. This page is getting a lot of traffic. It's really nice because it's a listing we're trying to keep up to date with affordable listings that our voucher holders can actually, anybody can go to, but we want to make sure that it meets a certain affordability level based on our payment standards. So.
And those of you that are just listening and not watching, that's www.bremertonhousing.org/housing search.
And this is just something we're seeing a need to kind of estimate affordability on these rentals that are coming up on the market, because we don't want voucher holders to waste their time if it's not affordable. And it's really hard to kind of figure out if it is affordable or not. So we're kind of doing a little bit of the initial legwork. There's no guarantee you'll get these places. There's no guarantee they'll be available once we put them on our site. We're just adding links to our site to listings that appear affordable.
And if I'm correct, Lori Ressinger is at the final stages of completing a workshop or offering a workshop here that will help folks to prepare when they're seeking housing, so that they're ready, they have all their ducks in a row, all their I's dotted, all their T's crossed, and give themselves the best chance of getting a unit that they're looking at.
Yeah, it's called Ready to Rent, and actually, we're going to start our campaign for sharing that information formally with the community on Juneteenth at the Juneteenth Festival.
What?
So we're going to have a booth at Juneteenth, and so you can learn more about Ready to Rent. So it's a lot of work, and it's a really great course that she's going to be offering to the community for free to learn all about, your financials, keeping a budget, talking to landlords and having a relationship with them, and making sure you're putting your best foot forward. So you'll have a better chance of, when you apply, not being screened out and actually get the unit.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great resource. Sarah's also asking, did the voucher limits change recently?
The voucher limits did change because the FMR calculation increased by 20%. So that means that our payment standards, which are right now, I think 120% of Kitsap County FMRs, so it's quite a big increase. That means they can afford so much more so the rents are so high, but now our voucher holders can apply to many more units. They're considered affordable. So that means our listings page has a lot more units on it. It just gives a better chance to meet that affordability requirement. But again, there's still screening, there's still landlord requirements to meet. There's still a lot, but at least there's more units now to try for.
And if I'm correct, that is the research that Jill took on and then submitted to HUD to have
the
that
rent survey in November.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. Man, thank you, Sarah, for so many questions, because these are important things that so many people have, and this is the way to get the answers. If we can shift just for a second, Katie, you were in my presentation. I just wanted to get your feedback. So, I was supposed to start at 2:50 and go to 3:05, and I think I started at 3:00, which is when the show starts. So I was like, I'm gonna have to cut and chop a lot of what I have planned, and it's like, I didn't even get through with the whole conduit spiel. So out of what I was able to provide, what was your feedback?
I thought you did great. You came prepared with a whole video, and everybody really liked it. I think everybody's excited to see you there. I don't know what action items you'll see, but I know people are hearing about the conduit, and there's like, oh, you do a housing podcast? So I thought the video was really great. Again, just to be top of mind, just continue to go to the meetings, have your updates, for Gather Together and the conduit, and just, continue to go out there. And I think now it'd be great to contact some of those providers and start getting them on the podcast.
Yeah. I was saying before you came on, I learned so much attending the meeting and answered some of the questions that we were talking about last week in the
Oh, yeah.
So it's just really powerful. So yeah, I will be reaching out to folks. I hope they approve and allow me to just stream the meeting. And it's kind of hard to have an excuse not to go to the meeting when I have a podcast before and a podcast after. Don't tell them that. Shh. Just in case I do have to miss it one day. It happens. We've got another question. The base housing allowance is expected to go up soon if it hasn't already. Oh, that's a statement there.
So that might sound like a good thing, but that makes it easier for landlords to rent at higher rates. And so they almost automatically outprice our voucher holders from even applying. So that's great. It's a very divided community right now with rents. So
yeah, it's unfortunate. Sarah says thank you for your great answers, and she appreciates your time.
Yeah, it's been fun this week with the waitlist opening and just talking to more of the community on the phone and helping. And everybody's been very grateful. I've had such great interactions. We've been waiting for this list for 3 years. I'm so happy, and not having this lottery, meaning all this work is worthwhile because they're actually on a list,
Right.
it's so nice to be able to tell them that.
Well, and it's in more equitable list, right? The folks that that have that access that can get in day one and not have any issues. You know, for the person that applies Friday at 3:59 p.m. you know,
Yeah.
it's a random sort. So it's like everyone gets in who applies during that time frame. So that's
Yes.
great. And so now it's just a matter of getting the word out and making sure that people have access to the computers and the technology.
And
To get it done.
the hardest thing about that is that the list is going to be long.
Mhm.
And we're not going to be able to tell you, we don't tell exact positions because we don't issue on a time basis. So we don't want the position number to make you think you're going to be issued at a certain time. And it's hard because it's great we're opening the waitlist for 5 days. It's great everybody's automatically on the list, but it doesn't make it long. So it might be a few years. And again, everybody should continue what they're doing, even if they're get on the list, but at least we will contact you. We just don't know when.
So can I ask you, Katie, you mentioned that there's more people that applied this year on the digital Rent Cafe than did last year during paper.
And we didn't do paper last year. We've been doing online for 6 years. It was actually just a form that you just go to a link.
Form. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I misspoke. A
Yep.
form. Because that you have more numbers this year and you're improving year after year, is this information going to be helpful for BHA to advocate for more affordable housing, more programs, more money?
Oh, 100%. And again, doing our community the service of, everybody moving to digital anyway, a lot of services are only digital, that we are now part of the solution. We are helping everybody get emails. We are helping everybody keep up to date. And we are moving towards this direction because not only are we helping those who don't have access, but those who do have access now have more access, now can check their information and don't need to contact us. So it's really beneficial for everybody, and I think it's going to be important, even in this as a case study, to show like how we need more housing, how we need to be able to issue more vouchers because of our list being so long.
And I asked that question because I believe it's just like the census on the point in time count, right? Without those numbers, then the
Yes.
agencies can't advocate for more resources. So it's just, there's only 200 people that are on the wait list for Section 8. And it's like,
Such
no,
a good point.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, no, there was 1,000 on day one and this many on
Yes.
this, it's like, no, we need to do something here. And we have a lot more folks in need than is being reported or
It's a
realized.
more realistic number, and that's a really good point because we would open the waitlist every year with this expectation we would exhaust the vouchers every year, but that could mean we only open it and we only pick 200 people. But the problem is maybe those 200 people lived somewhere else, right? Or maybe those 200 people, because anybody can apply. You don't have to live in Kitsap County right now to apply. You just have to live in Kitsap County when you get a voucher, right? So anybody could apply. So those 200 people could have been people from anywhere, right? So, and then all the other people don't even get a chance. And it wasn't a realistic number of how many people were actually in need of Section 8.
Mhm.
So, it's again, we don't do any eligibility or verification at this point. We do it at the time you get to the top of the wait list. So,
See, that's
it doesn't
fantastic.
mean everybody's eligible if you get on the wait list, but it does mean you're on the wait list and you do have a chance once
Yes.
you reach the top.
And you're not taking anyone's spot because if your name gets called and you're not eligible, they're just going to go on to the next person. So do not
Exactly.
say no to yourself. That's super important. Super
Yes.
important. And again, I'm going to say it again. As long as you're just a single adult, don't have to have any children, you can apply. Please apply. Because so many of us do not know that. Sarah's asking, how does the waitlist get updated?
How does it get updated? I guess I don't. Can you clarify your question? Because right now it's getting updated by people adding their names to it. So, but for information wise, you can, if you need to update any information on there, your Rent Cafe account allows you to update your address, phone number, email. For any of this is all eligibility criteria. So it gets updated when that person reaches the top and we contact them. So, and that's when not just contact information gets updated, but all the information, income, we do all of that verification. We get verification paperwork. Right now, you can apply with your social security number. We don't need to check your ID or anything. But that's when we do that is when we get to the top of the list. That's when we check your ID, make sure you have everything in order, and make sure you're income eligible as well as meet all the other criteria.
Sarah, I was just going to go there. So, yesterday I was at Tara Simmons' relaunch campaign, and one of the things that she talked about is the woeful resources, and I put resources in quotes, of folks that are coming out of incarceration. So, could a family member or a loved one put someone on the Section 8 rolls that is, set to be released in the next 6 months or to a year?
At this point, yeah, they can apply. Like I said, no verification happens at this time.
Gotcha. And so her question is, do you contact people in custody?
That's it. I mean, I can ask that question. I'm not in the housing department. I'm not sure how they handle individual contact, but I know they do put their best foot forward when trying to reach people. So we have history of information as well, and not just their current information. And we also have on our application form additional contact information that you could add. So if there is need for additional contact information, you could contact us or you can add it to the application.
Gotcha. And so for clarification, Sarah is saying if they get to the top, do you contact the people that are in custody and say, hey, you're not?
Yeah, we use their information they provided, and I don't know what depths we go to hunt them down, but we do do our best because, again, just like KCR doesn't want to screen people out, we don't want to screen people out. We want to make sure they have the opportunity to get the voucher.
And I would add, Sarah, if you have contact with anyone from Civil Survival, I would share this information out. I didn't even think about having folks that are currently incarcerated,
I see.
Apply for Section 8, knowing they're going to be released and going to have a problem getting housing. How long do people have to respond once you reach out to them?
I wish I knew. I don't know that question, but I'm going to write it down.
Yeah, these are all fantastic questions. And this is what accessibility is about, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the direct questions that, even when the agency doesn't know, they can write it down and then research it and come back. And Sarah, you're asking questions that probably scores of folks have and don't know to ask, maybe too afraid to ask. Man, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
He said, I've been trying to get a meeting. This is great.
Well, feel free to email me. Do you even have my information?
I do have well, you know what? I do not have your email. For your title, it just says BHA Communications.
I will put that in here.
All right. So that is ksharp@bremertonhousing.org. And I will update her title here.
My title slide or whatnot.
Your title slide. That's right. Go ahead and put that in there. Let's see. I'll fix it in post. But for now, it might help if I use the right keyboard. I'll clean it up later. But that is Katie Sharp at ksharp@bremertonhousing.org. And she is the BHA Communications Manager.
Thanks, Marwan. And yeah, I love all the questions. I love coming on here. I stayed on. I know you had to drop off from the coalition meeting. I stayed on because I want to make sure to give the whole group an update on the wait list and thank everybody for helping because we couldn't do it without the community for sure. It's just so nice that we really got the word out before it opened. And I think we got 1,000 registrations before opening day. So
that is phenomenal. I mean, that was crazy. Well, we are after 4, and you are answering the crisis IT hotline.
I am. I gotta go.
We got to make sure she gets a rest and she can answer those calls. I heard the phone ring, and it's like, all right, she's pulling double, triple duty this week.
Yes.
But we'll see you at the breakfast next week, which will be a lot of fun. Hang in there for the last 2.5 days. We appreciate all the work and all the effort that you've done and being so accessible. I'm gonna give you the final word.
Okay. Well, of course, waitlist closes on Friday at 4 p.m. Get your information in. Make sure you get your application submitted. If you have any questions, email me. I will get you in. Other thing I wanted to mention is Armed Forces Day Parade. On Saturday, we actually have a little float. We have a truck and a trailer, and we'll be walking in the Armed Forces Day Parade as Bremerton Housing Authority, representing the Shelton's Veterans Village, which is a tiny home community they're building in Shelton. So I did want to shout out to that. That will be a fun day. Let's hope for good weather.
Absolutely. Where's the parade at?
Downtown Bremerton. It starts on 6th Street, I think.
Okay. Well, they're probably going to walk right past our building. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Like, hey, when is this? See, I told you, I'm in the know and I don't know when I don't know. Stuff is happening on my street. I ain't got no idea. All right, y'all. For Katie Sharp of Bremerton Housing Authority, I am Marwan Cameron. So glad that you joined us today. Please join us next week for the Pancake Breakfast, Wednesday at 11 a.m., May 25th at New Horizon Ministries, 4040 Wheaton Way, Suite 203, Washington, 98337. All right, everyone. Until next time,